And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is LeShi Barnes Butler, who in 2014 experienced a life-changing car accident, crossed over, and came back with a powerful gift that not only changed her life, but enhanced her giving and her prayer life 100%. LeShi, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, LeShi, if you don't mind, let's start on the day of the car accident and go from there.
Okay. So the day of my car experience, because it was an awakening, I thought it was a really bad accident, but it turned out to be something more powerful than just an accident. My accident on the 13th, I went to my mom's house, which was a Saturday. I went to my mom's house. I do her hair every Saturday for church. Leaving my mother's house, driving home, me and my two sons was in the car. I live in a more rural area. I was 1,000 feet from my home. On my street, there's a 2-lane highway. A lot of cars pass through to go from one major street to the next as a shortcut. As I was driving home, I saw a truck, like a F-350, 450, something of that nature. But something said, look. And normally when I drive, I just look right in front of me. I don't look way ahead. And something said, look. And I looked up and out and I saw someone driving, but they had their head down as if they were reading a cell phone. I didn't know what they were doing, but I saw the head down. There was a car maybe 200 feet in front of me that was about to bypass the truck the opposite way. I saw the truck going over the yellow line because they was looking down. So I pulled over in the dirt next to a fence because it's not a lot of space. My son said, Mom, why did you pull over? And I looked at him like this and I said, they're going to have an accident and I don't want to have no part of it. Just that. Before I knew it, I heard a just like that. Not a big bang, not a big crash, just like a tap, just like that. And I said, Adam, did they hit us? I was shocked, right? And then I said, help me out. So I tried to get out the car, but I couldn't get out the car. I had my foot on the brake. So my right foot was on the brake. And for some reason, I had crossed my left foot over my right foot when I had stopped and talked to him. So when the car hit me, my right foot fell and the brake and the accelerator crossed over my left ankle. And I was stuck. I couldn't get free. I remember saying, help me out. And I couldn't move my leg. There was my youngest son was in 4th grade at the time. And he climbed out the back window. He said a lady appeared and gave him a cell phone, which he called my husband because we lived just 1,000 feet away. My husband rushed over to help. He tried to help me out the car, but he couldn't get me out. So someone called 911. In the process of all of that, my oldest son, which was in the front seat, his name is Adam, he was in the front seat. When all this happened simultaneously, I said, help me. His shoulder went to the back of behind his arm. It was behind his back. And he couldn't help me. And he was screaming. And my husband helped him out the car. But I was trapped. And my little son said, Mommy, stop, don't move. I never knew why he said that. All of this happened so fast. It was like in minutes. And I was unconscious. I didn't know the impact of the accident because I didn't hear a loud crash. I just heard a thump. It wasn't even a lot of pressure. I was in a hardtop Jag with the sunroof. The ambulance and the fire department had to use 2 jaws of life. It took them 45 minutes to cut me out of the car. Just to cut me out. So it took about an hour to get from the accident to get me out of the car. I was unconscious. When I was unconscious, I didn't know that I was unconscious. I just knew that I wasn't at the scene anymore. I was in this place. You know how sometimes you close your eyes and you just see the darkness? You don't see anything. It's just like that. I was just there. I was in this room and it was dark, but in the distance, it looked almost like a gray, like a light, a low light, a dim light. I was in this room and it was like an auditorium. It reminded me back when I was in elementary school or junior high school. We had the auditorium. We would do plays and different things in this auditorium. And as we would walk down the road, the aisle, I went down to the very front. So I knew I was in the very front because I could feel my hands resting on it was just resting on something flat in front of me. I remember that. I remember standing up, holding on to, leaning my hands up, and I was swaying to the side, and then I began to clap my hands. There was a choir singing. There is no secret what God can do. What he's done for others, he'll do for you. His arms are wide open. He's calling you. There is no secret what God can do. And I'll tell you, it was the most beautiful song. The choir was massive. You can hear all these voices. I never saw anyone. I heard. I could feel the people around me, but I couldn't see nobody. It was not like a physical body that I can see, but I knew they were there because when I went down to the front and I went to the seat to sit down, I moved as far as I could get in, and it was the only seat left. There was, I could feel people around me, but I couldn't see anybody. And I was singing and I was singing and I was just singing and I felt so good. It was such a beautiful, 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 beautiful experience of love. I have never felt any love like I have never felt this before in my entire life. I felt so much love and joy and happiness and peace. It was like all this wrapped together. It was such a beautiful experience. And I was going along with the choir. I knew they were going swaying because I was swaying with them. I was clapping my hands, and it was a beautiful experience. And I remember, and I remember looking at, it was one of the paramedics, or I don't know if she was with the fire department, but she was in the back seat of my car trying to wake me up, right? Trying to get me to wake up. And I saw me singing in the front seat, going from side to side. I was like, what? I saw her trying to wake me up, saying, Mrs. Butler, don't open your eyes. They're going to cut your top off. And then I was back with the choir. I never could physically see her because I was unconscious. The body was unconscious. But I could see her saying that. And then I was back in the room with the choir. That was just a true experience to me. And it lasted for a good time. I don't know how long it lasted, but I was there. And it was a peaceful place of love and harmony. I I entered my body. I entered back into my body when they hoist me out the car. They put this thing all around my body. And as they hoist me out the car, I screamed. I never knew my head was busted. I lost 6 pints of blood. That's probably why I went unconscious, because the blood was running all down my face and my neck for almost an hour. When they took me to the hospital, they took my 2 boys to one trauma care. They took me to another one. I was at peace. I never cried. I was never afraid. When my mom got to the emergency center, my mom and my husband, they came. And I said, Mom, I heard this choir singing. I remember the choir singing. And many days after my accident, I would wake up to a choir singing. I told my mom I heard a choir singing and I was not afraid. They stapled my head back together. I felt it. When they took me out the car, pulled me out the car, it broke my ankle and it was bleeding. I felt them staple my ankle back together because they had already gave me all the medication they can give me for pain. I had multiple surgeries because I broke both of my knees, my ankle, my femur in 3 places, my hip, my arm. I had multiple fractures. I do remember while being in the hospital waiting to go in to have surgery, when it was time for me to go to have the surgery, I felt such warmth. I felt such love. I felt such a beautiful flow of love. I even prayed for the doctors before we went in. My husband was so afraid. Him and my sister was crying, but I never cried because I wasn't afraid. I felt the love of God. I felt the love, true love. I felt true. You know how people say, oh, I love you? I'm like, no, you don't. I don't feel that love, right? It's such a beautiful, beautiful love. And I'll tell you something. I can feel it. So I'll tell you, when I had to go, had the surgery, went to the hospital, went to skills nursing facility. Now I want to share something with you. A day before the car accident, I was talking to my oldest sister on the phone. I do a lot of things, a whole bunch of things sometimes, too many things sometimes. I was going to school, I was working, taking my kids to practice, mother and wife, helping my husband run his business, just burning both ends of the candle. I told my sister, I said, I need a break. I said, I want somebody to cook for me, clean for me, bathe me, exercise me, massage me, feed me, just give me the works. Shampoo my hair. I was thinking about on a private yacht, on a cruise in the south of France. I never said that. I just said, I need a break. I want somebody to cook for me, feed me, clean me, bathe me, exercise. 24 hours, car accident, multiple breaks, have surgery, end up in a skilled nursing facility where they bathed me, shampooed my hair, fed me, exercised me. I was in a diaper. I was like, I said, what happened? How did this happen to me? And then I heard, remember you said, and I said, well, I didn't mean it that way. And then I heard, well, that's what you said. So when we speak, words manifest. The intentions that you have or the need or desire that you have before you speak a word, it will make it manifest quickly. And it will come to you the way you say it. So the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. Now I understand the power of words. I ended up in a skilled nursing facility. And it was challenging. Inside the facility, there was a lot of older people there, a lot of people that had passed away. And I would hear things in my room, and I'll pull the curtain back to see if somebody was in there. It was just something. I was in there for over a month. And then I ended up in a hospital bed in my home for months because I had non-weight-bearing injuries. I had to learn how to walk all over again. All of these things that happen, these challenges that happen, it was for a divine purpose. Sometimes we don't understand why things are happening to us, but everything is in divine order. There is a plan for all of our lives if we can listen and hear and get an understanding of which direction we should go to. I've always, as a young girl, would have dreams before something happened to me in my life. I would have a dream, and the next day it would happen. But being so young, you don't pay attention to that. Say, oh, something crazy happened to me today. And you say, what did I just dreamed about that? But you never put two and two together because you're so busy doing all kinds of stuff. To fast forward, things started happening that I really didn't understand. After a point, I started back walking. In 2013, my father transitioned, so I was not able to go to his grave because I was in a wheelchair, and it was very hard to get the wheelchair. I was in a remote, automatic wheelchair, not with the push wheels, but with the lever. It was very heavy to take around into your car and stuff. So I wasn't able to go and see my dad for a very long time. When I had an opportunity to go back to visit him, I went to the cemetery and I was there by myself, and I was crying really hard because I missed him. I always was a daddy's girl. And I felt something hug me. I was there by myself. The sunset he's in a military cemetery. So at sunset, the cemetery closes. So I'm there by myself. I said, I'm going to get this one last cry out, and I'm not going to cry anymore. I cried so hard that I felt something. Someone hugged me, like really tight. And I looked around, and was nobody. I shot out. I was like, oh my God. I said, bye, Daddy. I had never had that happen to me before. I said, bye, Daddy. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, something's crazy happened to me today. I was at the cemetery visiting Dad, and something hugged me. And she started laughing. She said, I bet you stay from up there now. I didn't know that when I transitioned, I picked up a gift. I was given a gift, and I didn't know it. So my accident, I thought, was just an unfortunate thing that happened to me. But in divine order, I needed this gift for the next part of my journey and this lifetime. My husband had bought a restaurant in 2015 while I was recovering from my accident. And I wasn't able to go up there for a long time. When I started being able to go up there, maybe I want to say in 2021. something happened. So 2020 to 2021, 2022, everything, just a flood of things start coming forth. Little things will happen. You don't really pay attention to things, like just little things, because we're so busy. So you remember I told you, I said, I felt the warmth of love on my face. I was at the restaurant, working the cash register, helping out. I didn't stay very long. I'll go up for a little bit and leave. I was helping out. It was on a Saturday. I was helping out at the restaurant. A lady and her husband came to the counter, and they were talking to me, and I felt that on my cheek, that warmth, right? That love. I said, wow. And out of nowhere, I said this. I said, excuse me, can I say something to you? And they said, yeah. I said, I feel ancestral energy connected to you. I had never said that before. And in my head, I'm saying, what the heck did I just say? What the heck is ancestral energy? I said, I feel ancestral energy connected to you. And they said, huh? I said, yeah, I can see an elder female. And I said, I used my hand. I said, she's about this high. I said, and her hair is brunette, and she wore it with curls. It was kind of thin. She wore bangs towards her face. And then I picked up her personality. I said, and she was like this, and she talked like that, and she was like a little whip, you know. And it was like, oh my God. So she said, give me my phone. So she gave him the phone. He opened it up. He showed me a picture. He said, we just left the lady you described at the cemetery. We just left her. And I said to myself, what the heck? What just happened? How did I know that? But then I told my husband and I told my son. And we just, what? We're just shocked, right? But that was the first time that happened. Then every time I went to the restaurant, a different experience would happen. And a different experience would happen. But it would be the same type of experience, but with different people. Okay? It would be the same type of experience. First, it was an elder, a female energy, which I can feel like a high vibration. And I kept getting that same feeling and sensation for a long period of time until I knew what that was. Then I'll get a different type of experience through multiple people will come in. And it was like a school. It was teaching me the mother energy, the grandmother, elder energy, the mother energy, the daughter, the auntie, the sister, the child, the female energy. And then it would teach me the male energy, what was what. And for, I want to say maybe 2 years, 3 years, 2020 to 2020, to even now, I know the difference. I can feel when an energy enters into a room. I can feel when I talk to somebody over internet, over phone. I can feel an energy, vibration, frequency of a grandmother or a loved one, whoever they're grieving about. I can feel it. And then I'll share what I hear. I'll share with the people because a lot of people are grieving. I believe that this here, I don't go to wake nobody up. You know, somebody say, oh, can you find this person for me? I don't do that. I don't do that. What I do is if I'm in your presence or if I'm talking to you and I feel the energy, body, because I feel the only way I can feel them is because they come with you when you come. They come with you because you have to be thinking about them in deep thought or grieving about them. They come to hug and comfort you, and then I can feel them with you. That's the only way. I believe that our loved ones that we think about are grieving. You know, Hebrews 12:1 speaks about the great cloud of witnesses, right? And so I asked Father God, I said, Father God, I said, what is this? I said, how do I know this? How do I feel this? Where did this come from? Because, you know, a lot of people growing up, they would say, oh, that's of the devil. You can't do that kind of stuff, right? That's devil stuff. I'm like, well, I know I'm not the devil. I've been going to church all my life and worshiping God. And then after my transition, going to the other side and coming back, I received a beautiful gift of healing to help people that are grieving to heal. I don't charge people for it because it's a gift. It's to help people to heal. You know, just everybody have their own agenda. Everybody have an agenda of different things that makes them happy or what they need. In my life, I help a whole lot of people, whether it's feeding the homeless or doing charity work. It just didn't start. I've been doing it for years, but after my transition and my accident, it heightened 100%. So I'm always giving, planting seed. I believe that the gift God has given me, is to help his children. We're grieving because sometimes people want to leave the earth to be with someone else. It is not their time. It would ruin the destiny of others because I believe that we're all attached to help each other move towards their destiny in life. Some people have children, they lose a mate, they lose a child, and they just can't think about anything else. They just want to give up. And I believe that the gift God has given me is to share. And if I can hear the voice or hear the person or feel the energy, feel the emotions, see them in my mind's eye. I have even been able to describe the clothes that people wore, the way they look, different things. It's amazing. This gift is amazing because it not only happens with those that have transitioned, but it has expanded into the living. So yeah, it's something. This is something. And I help people all the time. People that have lost someone over to accidental death. Maybe it's an overdose, children, fentanyl. I mean, just different things, people in car accidents, just a lot of different things. God allowed me to share with other people that their loved ones are at peace and in a peaceful place.
LeShi, thank you for sharing your life with us.
You're welcome.
You mentioned that when people are thinking about somebody or grieving about somebody, you're able to connect with that being. Do people still have people around them even if they're not grieving or thinking about them?
Right. I think they do. I think there's two things. I believe that our loved ones are always trying to contact us. I believe that when birthdays, anniversaries, and different events, our loved ones come to support, because I have felt people say, oh, I was there. And I would say, oh, you guys just had something happen, blah, blah, blah. And they said, yeah. I said, okay, she was there. So they come to be involved in our lives on different instances. But we don't know because we can't see them. When we do celebration, they come. But this is what I believe. I believe that when a person transitions, they're not dead, they're elevating into their life cycle, because we're all going to cross over into another life cycle and continue the work that God has for us in this earth, or in this life, or in this cycle, or this eternity. And we're all still evolving. I believe earth is a classroom to teach us different things. And as we move forward into the next level of phase of our eternal life, then something else will expand for us.
Besides what you've already received, did you get any other gifts?
You know something? I would like to say this here. I believe that I thought that I just had the one gift of knowing, hearing, and seeing our loved ones that transition. I now know that there is another gift that's unfolding of being able to tell people stuff that's living. I'm not for sure what else is there, because I'm still learning and expanding. I think when I have the time to just sit and be, I pray and worship God every morning. I do my meditation. And when I'm able to slow everything down, which is kind of difficult sometimes, but when I'm able to slow things down, I can feel God in an expansive way. And I know that my life has changed. I know that my life is evolving. I know that I am different now.
In what ways?
A lot of people don't understand me. They don't understand me now. Since my accident, I'm just different. I have a higher connection to spirit, to God. There's a lot of things change that I don't talk about. There's a lot of things that I see when I close my eyes. I can see stuff. I don't tell many people about it because sometimes people think you're different. I know that I'm different. I know that I'm not the same, but I'm the same. I just have an interspiritual growth that has expanded beyond my wildest beliefs. I don't know how I can hear people, but I can hear them. It wasn't like that before my accident. I couldn't tell you stuff. And then you said, oh my God, that happened. This lady came into the restaurant once, and I said, oh, which one of you guys are pregnant? And they said, oh, neither one of us. I said, okay. I said, come back in 9 months and let me know which one, right? Lady came back. She says, oh, I wanted to let you know. You said one, and I totally forgot about it. She says, oh, you said one of us was pregnant? And we said, no way. And she said, this is my baby. It's a boy. How do I know that? So it's just that my life is expanding. A lot of people, even people in my family, they don't understand because we were all taught a way. And then Now it was different for me.
Is that the way you normally share your gifts? And what I mean by that is someone will come into your presence, like at the restaurant or the grocery store or whatever, and some information will just come to you about them and you'll just share it.
Right. So what I said, I'll ask them, I say, can I say something? Can I share something with you? And then I'll tell them my name and I'll tell them that I have a gift. And I'll tell them that I can give you an example. It was New Year's Eve. I remember this. I ran to the store to get some snacks. As I went to the store, I was getting some stuff, and it was a lady and a young man. It was a young lady and a young man in the aisle. And then I felt that warmth on my face, right? So when I feel the warmth on my face, it reminds me of the love. So the energy bodies become love. I'm sorry. Um, the energy bodies feel like love. And that's what I felt when I transitioned. Just warmth and love. And I said to the young lady, I said, hi. I said, can I share something with you? I said, I feel a female energy connected to you. And I described what I felt. And she said, that's my mother. Then I saw and I felt a tall man. And she said, that's my uncle. He died right after my mother. And there was a little baby, a little girl showed up. And that was her little sister that had died. And she was so happy and thankful because she missed them and didn't know, right? But she had been thinking about them. She said, I've been thinking about them. We were just talking about them. And then I walked into the store and I shared it with her. She said, thank you so much. And so different things like that. It was a man came to the restaurant once and he wanted to cater some food for his wife's homegoing service. She had passed away. And so as we were sitting down talking, I felt his wife's energy, and simultaneously I saw some white flowers sitting on a fireplace. And I shared it with him. And he said, yes. He said, my wife's, her job sent over a white bouquet of flowers and they're sitting on the fireplace. And then I shared some other things with him and he said, yes, yes, yes. So it's like little things like that that help people heart to feel better because I'm nothing but flesh, just dirt.
Is the information that you receive always preceded by the feeling of the warmth on your face?
Um, Not all the time, not all the time. So I get the warmth. I can feel, I can feel it. Okay. So I don't know how to explain it. Warmth on this side here used to be all the time, but it's not all the time anymore. It's a high vibration of a good feeling. So it's love. For the men, it's a knowing. I can just feel them. I could feel a young man when he comes into my present, and he's far back, but I could just feel him. I could feel the grandfather or the father or a son. I could feel them. When it's a young man that had an accidental death, I can feel him. And I know that what it is, that is an accidental death. And I can feel that in a certain vibration. So they're all vibrations of feelings. And the warmth comes, but it doesn't come with each one of them. But it's a high vibration of really good warmth energy. Yeah.
Do you only just feel these beings around them, or do you actually hear some sort of message that you
So
relay to the person as well?
yes, I do receive messages. I receive messages, all types of messages. I receive all types of messages. Uh, and I started to document them because at first I wasn't documenting them. And I started to document them because I was getting so many um, I keep them. Can you see this?
It just looks like a white light. Maybe if you tilt it up or down a little bit, I can kind of, I can see it, but it's still, the text is too small to read.
Okay. Well, I have lots and lots of messages that I started to write down because it was just so much. And after I tell the people, it normally goes away and I don't remember it because the message isn't for me, it's for them. And they leave messages and they tell stories and they connect. So sometimes names come up. They'll say different things they had, different experiences, and let them know that I'm at peace. I'll tell you something. So a few times people came into the restaurant that was sick, and I felt it, right? And it was crazy. I was like, look, whenever something happened one time, it'll repeat itself so I can know this is what that means. And then it'll repeat itself until I get the meaning of that level of whatever it's trying to teach me. Right? So I was at the restaurant one day and I realized that the restaurant is my classroom. My husband bought the restaurant so I can learn because I would never be around so many people in all of my life. That's a lot of people every day. I wouldn't be around that many people. A lady came in, I'm at the register helping her, and I got really dizzy out of nowhere. I don't ever get dizzy. I was like, oh my God. I said, Daryl, I said, I'm dizzy, right? I want to hold on to something. And when she left, it left. So I said, what was that about? It just went away when she left. Another time, maybe a few days after, maybe a week, another two ladies came in this time. And I got dizzy again. And I said, Daryl, I got dizzy again. Which is Daryl is my husband. And I said, can I ask you? And then something clicked. It says, ask them which one is dizzy. I said, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Which one of you guys are dizzy right now? The lady said, I am. I was like, oh my God. I said, And then I felt something down in my inner ear, like pressure. I said, "Do you have pressure here?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Have they ever checked your inner ear?" And she says, "I'm going to ask them about that." I said, "I know you're not driving like that." She said, "Yes." I said, "You really shouldn't be driving like that." I said, "Because the way I feel, if you feel like the way I'm feeling," I said, "you can hurt somebody or have an accident." I said, "You shouldn't let your sister drive like that." And she says, "Okay, I'll drive." And she said, "How did you feel that?" I didn't know, but it happens multiple times on multiple occasions. So I think that's another part of a gift unfolding.
Does this only work spontaneously or can you force it? For example, if someone says, I miss some person in my life that's transitioned, and can you please contact him for me? Will it work that way?
Well, it I don't do that. I don't go to seek out to find people to bring them. To me, I'm breaking their rest. I believe that if a person is thinking about them at any capacity in deep thought, they will come to them. They should already be with them if they're thinking about them. I don't think that you should have to go and get anybody from wherever they're at, doing whatever they're doing. I believe if they want to be contacted, they'll already be in your presence. And I do believe that our loved ones are always around us, supporting us to help us to move forward and not give up. A lot of people want to give up sometimes. It's very hard to bear. I lost my sister. Um, I lost my favorite sister 21 years ago. When I was 4 years old, my mom had a massive stroke. She was pregnant with my little brother. He was 4 months pregnant. My sister protected me. She was 18 months older than me. And we were close all of our lives. And she passed away. That was devastating for me. I spent more time at the cemetery sitting with her. When everybody looked for me, oh, she's probably at the cemetery because of the unknowing. So I know what it feels like to lose someone that you love. But now I know different. Now I know that our loved ones are always supporting us, trying to help us heal our broken heart. One day we'll transition and we'll see them. But in the meantime, in between time, we have a destiny and a job to do on earth. And we have to be here.
How often does this happen? Like, if you have in one work shift, does it happen multiple times a day or a few times a week? Or
It would happen multiple times a day. And I'll tell you something. It would happen multiple times. It happens multiple times a day, right? And sometimes you have to ground yourself because the energy pull is so strong that if you don't tell them to leave, they'll constantly drain your energy just by them being in your presence. So you have to tell them, okay, now you have to leave now. I delivered your message to your loved ones and you have to leave now.
how has this affected your business? Like, has the word gotten out that if you come to this restaurant and LeShi's working, you might get some sort of message?
So you, you know, that's something. I don't share everything, but I share everything. I don't just tell you stuff, but I'll ask you, can I share something with you? And then I won't say it in front of people. I'll take you outside to the side and I'll share the gift with you. Uh, just Saturday, just Saturday. Look, I work in the back a lot now because sometimes it's draining. I, I don't want to scare people. Some people could be scared. Like, oh my God, dead people. What? So I don't just, so I came to the front to give someone their food to go. And I felt that warmth on my face, right? And it was a female energy. So it was two different people right there. So when I handed the first guy his food, I didn't feel it. So when the next guy came, I handed him his food, I felt it. And I said, can I share something with you? And he said, yes. And I told him that I have this gift. It's a gift of love. It's a gift of healing. And I told him I felt a female energy that had transitioned, that was connected to him, right? I said, does it connect with you? He said, no. I said, okay. And then he started thinking, he said, I had my father die. I said, no, it's a female energy, like a auntie or a cousin or a sister energy. Because the mother, the grandmother, the auntie, sister, cousin is almost in the same area of vibration. And he says, oh, my wife's cousin, she passed away last month. I said, oh, I said, were you guys recently talking about her? He said, yes, they talk about her all the time. They miss her so much. And then I delivered the message. And I said, she was throwing up. I said, I feel her throwing up a lot, right? And he said, yes, she was throwing up all the time. She couldn't keep anything down. He said she had cirrhosis of the liver and she was constantly throwing up. And I said, oh, and I hear something. She said, cha, 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 cha. And he says, oh, yes, they used to party together all the time. And that was one of her things. Her and his wife, they would party together and they would cha, 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 cha. And he says, oh, wow. I said, let them know that she's at peace and she's in a much happier place. I said, she's in such peace, no more pain, and she's happy and at peace. And tell them not to worry anymore. And so he said, I'm going to let them know. So that came across. And he received it.
I don't know if you want to reveal this or not, but if you do, what's the name of your restaurant?
Oh. So the name of our restaurant is called West Side Pit Barbecue and Seafood Restaurant.
All right, leave it at that. I mean, obviously they're gonna Google. I don't know. I don't even know why I asked it because I'd have to be in Riverside to find you, anyways.
Well, it's located in Rialto, California,
Okay.
and it's a place of love. It's been in my husband's family, his generation, since 1963. And in 2015, he purchased it for his brother. I thought it was the worst thing that he ever done. I thought it was the worst thing that he had ever done because I knew that it would fall back on me, right? And so I said, and then this gift started unfolding. Had I not been in the restaurant, I would have never learned all of these things, all of the feelings, the sensations, the vibrations, the love, the experiences, the evolving, the helping people to heal that was broken. I'll tell you something. It has been something else. I don't have anyone that I talk to every night about everything that I experience. I write them down. I'll talk to God. I'll talk to our spirit guides, our angels, and I'll ask them questions. You know, sometimes in this space, it's kind of lonely because you can't really talk about it to people. If I told you some things that I saw, you think I probably was crazy. So I just keep them inside because I know that I'm not crazy, but it's a gift that's unfolding like a new day. Something else happens, and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was a part of this. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And ex- example, there was, you remember I told you about the man that was, um, his wife had transitioned. And I was able to tell him about the white flowers and different things.
That was before the.
Okay, you remember I told you, I said this one guy came to the restaurant. His wife had passed away. He wanted us to cater her memorial service.
Okay.
All right. So the next day he came back to bring his deposit. He brought his daughter with him. It was her daughter, but it was his stepdaughter. Okay. And when she was standing next to me, I said to her, I felt the mother grandmother energy connected to her, right? And I said, can I ask you a question? And she said, yes. I said, did you have a miscarriage? And she said, no. I said, oh, okay. I said, did you have an abortion? And she said, no. I said, okay. I said, because I feel a little girl. I feel a baby that your mom had with her and is connected to you, right? And then she said, no. And then she went and sat down. And then she looked at me. She said, I had a stillborn when I was 17. The mother had the baby with her. So when people transition, they connect back together, the loved ones, they connect back together. So nobody is alone. The babies are with the ancestors. It's a beautiful gift unfolding. Who would ever thought that when you lose a little baby, the baby connect with the elders and the ancestors?
I wonder if you have any regulars at the restaurant that know what you're doing and they see you take someone outside and they're thinking, oh, she's got a message for somebody.
Oh no, you know something, half the people I forget. I don't even remember them. And some people say, you remember you said this? And I'm like, oh, sometimes I don't even remember the faces because the message is never for me, it's for them. And I have talked to a lot of people before, and half of them I don't even remember their faces. And then they'll come and say, oh, you remember you said this? And I'm like, no, I don't remember. I know that could be bad, but it's not for me, it's for them.
After watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that? And if so, how can they contact you?
So what I will do is I will give you a special link for the people. They're welcome to contact me. I'll give you something special for them, and they can leave a message, and then we could set up a phone call. And then Whatever I hear, I will say to them. I don't try to go and find nobody to bring back. They will already have to be connected with them there. So I can feel the energy. And then I will share to them what I feel. I won't charge them. I don't charge money because it's a gift. It's a gift of love. Some people don't have money. Some people don't have extras. Some people are just grieving and need help.
Well, I'll put that link in the description. And I guess when they call you, either someone will be connected to them or not. It's just whatever happens, happens, right?
Right. So I don't guarantee anything. I don't guarantee anything. If I feel something, I'll share it. Whatever it is, I'll share it. I don't make up stuff. I don't add to anything. I don't go to find people that are not there. I don't guarantee anything. But 99.9% of the time, if somebody's there, I will feel them. And I could tell you what it is. If it's a mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, nephew, accidental death, blah, blah, blah. Because they would share it with me. And then I would relay to you the message, or to them the message of what they give. Our loved ones are always willing to reach out to us to help us heal. They don't want us sad and crying and depressed. Sometimes people try to take their lives, or they start drinking just to cope. You know, I would just say God is love, and God is always loving on us, but sometimes we sabotage ourselves by getting in the way, or not even seeking or praying for directions. Direction comes and help comes in many different forms, and we can't expect it to come one way because it's not going to drop out the sky. But God used his children, all of us, to help each other. He uses people to help other people.
Well, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
Yes. I would like to say this to everyone that can hear me. Death is not the end. Death is not final. We all have a destiny to come into the earth, to learn what we can learn. And then we exit the earth, because this earth is not everlasting here. And we transition to continue moving on and evolving into whatever it is God has for us planned, because we are eternal beings, and eternal is eternity. When we leave here, there's more work to do for us. So when our loved ones leave before us, they're doing the work that they're meant to do. The memories that they leave with us is in our heart for memories. We're not supposed to grieve when they leave, but to rejoice and be happy that they're elevating into spiritual enlightenment. So don't grieve and sadness. I know it hurts because I lost my sister, I lost my dad, my favorite, my aunt, friends, but life still elevates and it's not the end. And if you think about them in deep thought, they're with you now. And 99% of the time they're hugging you, but you just can't feel it because you're so distraught. But they're hugging you, letting you know it's okay. I'm with you. And sometimes you may see something, you're looking and say, did I see something? What? That's them. They're around you. They're with you. They're holding your hand, but you just can't feel it. Just remember, death is not the end. They are eternal, and they're evolving, and they're with you. And I hope that helps somebody.
LeShi, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for allowing me your platform to share my gift of love and light and expansion, and for people to keep living and enjoying their lives and the memories of our loved ones that have left before us. But we will meet them again on the other side.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.